we're making big progress here in the Raleigh garden since our average last frost date passed about a week ago now. We had this entire patio area was covered in plants. The cart was full of trays, and we still have some trays. We have a pile of plants that are going in the native garden, and we've laid out some other plants that are going to go in a video we may start after I finish this up right now. Just some random things that we're adding to the garden that we've always liked and have acquired this spring. But the bigger parts of the planting are kind of done. We did the front annual planting that you would have seen in a video probably yesterday. And then we came in here and planted annuals around the patio. Our open garden event is June 20th and 21st. And last year, so right now as I'm filming this, it's like April 23rd or 24th or something like that. You'll probably maybe seeing it almost at the beginning of May. But this time last year, I had this patio was about maybe half finished. I have no idea. And we had stuff everywhere. And we just had, I mean, that first open garden we did last year put us into overdrive, having us finish a bunch of projects. This year, we've had a lot to do, but boy, is it more relaxing. Once we got to all the corners last year to get to this point. So, I mean, relaxing in terms of where we are versus where we were at the same time last year. It's still a lot of work going on, but the garden looks great. I'm going to have Steph cut in and do a loop around the back garden path here as part of this video. The front garden is definitely Clown College, really hot colors out there on purpose. Moved some of the slightly more muted colors to the back, and there's purple basil back here. We moved the eggplant to the back. We have the eggplant in the front garden, integrating vegetables into the annual planting, into the annual color planting. Those were beautiful. Those are one of the best part of the garden last year was the eggplant that were part of our display. Pollinators love the flowers on them, and found them, pollinated them, and we had these big, beautiful purple eggplants. These are more of a round white eggplant on this one. And then, we surrounded the patio with our typical annual display, but it's narrower than it's been in the past because a lot of our perennials now are coming back. And that's been part of the plan all along, is that we would, as the shrubs got bigger, as the perennials became more established, the annuals would be slightly less, slightly less part of the garden overall. We'll continue to have annual color out here always, because it's the thing that allows us to put our biggest fingerprint on season over season is that annual color, right? Because I'm not going to move every shrub around, but although probably, would you say, Steph, it's probably I would say it's probably a 15% flip out on the, on shrubs, things we've moved around, and yeah, year over year. Yeah, a lot of changes that we've made, again, because we're seeing where things fit or don't fit, or a couple things died. That's normal when you have 350 different species in one garden. But again, I don't want to be moving shrubs or trees around forever as part of the garden change. So the main garden change that we have is these annuals. I put up a video, a 5-minute Friday video you will have seen the end of last week on how to plant annuals. We do highly amend these spaces where we have these temporary plants in the garden, and that includes the vegetable garden. That's the other thing we did for this this video, I guess, was we got the vegetable garden in. We have, how many tomato plants is it? 24? 20 tomato plants, which is down, I think. I think that's down a bit from what we have done. It's just maybe 7 varieties. 7. Okay, so 7 tomato varieties. Of course, we've done bronze torch. Bronze torch, if you can either buy the seed or find the plant somewhere. Bronze torch, I think, to us, is our favorite tomato. And then we flip out some others year to year. I'm going to put this list up on the screen for you to see what we've used. A couple different pepper plants over there, some okra, some cucumbers. We don't do squash and zucchini. The squash borers just drive us absolutely bonkers. So I don't want to go down the road of putting something in that I have to that I have to spray or deal with in any way. If something becomes a nuisance like that, it goes, right? That's what we That's how we handle that. We have to be cognizant of rabbits. So in the front garden, you will have seen in the video, maybe yesterday is when that went up, we put a fence around those spaces out there because some of that stuff we know the rabbits will eat just from experience. The vegetable garden is 100% chance that they would eat our okra to the ground if they had half a chance. They usually won't mess with the tomatoes or peppers. Most of those plants in the Solanaceae, the rabbits don't eat, but they'll eat that okra to the ground for sure. And other things. So we fenced that in. We fenced in that front annual space. Most of the things we have back here, for the most part, they won't mess with. They won't mess with the coleus. I don't think they've ever messed with the pentas, have they? Begonias, we put begonias on the back line back there. We have put Tyrinia in the past, but the Tyrinia gets eaten by the rabbits and it doesn't seem to tolerate the dryness, the seasonal dryness of that back line. The begonias seem to tolerate us forgetting to water them sometimes. So we put white begonias. That's another thing is, as this gets shadier toward the back, we like to put in, there's a lot of chartreuse color back there, and there's a lot of white flowers back there. White flowers really show up in shadowy spaces. And a lot of our understory plants, if you go into the wild, you'll see that in the springtime, a lot of our native plants that bloom in the woodland areas are blooming white. You know, they can really be seen in those shadowy spaces. A lot of the perennials in the fall and stuff will bloom yellow. It's just things that show up at different times of the year. The plants have evolved to, you know, they know what they're doing, right? To bring in pollinators. So there you go. I'm going to finish this video up with Steph doing a slow stroll through here. Again, really excited to be where we are at this moment in time, having gotten 80% of our annuals planted. We got what we have left on our list is containers have to be done. So you'll see a container planting video and a native plant video over there. One more onesie twosie plant here and there all over the place, and they're literally laid out. You may see a couple as she's walking around right now. One other, or maybe multiple videos you'll see is some pruning we have to do out here. But there are so many birds' nests in this garden right now, and I'm guessing you can hear it in the background, how many birds there actually are this season. This is, it's incredible how many birds are back here. And because the shrubs are fuller and they got more cover back here this year, they're nesting in this space. So some of the things I needed to prune, I probably should have pruned a little bit earlier. You know, of course, that Loropetalum, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, I was pruning it and there was a bird nest in it. Hoping not to find that same thing this year because it really needs to be pruned. But a lot of birds are in the garden. And of course, I've said in the past, and you know, it's part of the weekly garden planner and on the Learn to Garden video series, these are things I talk about over there. Birds are an important part of gardening. They help in a lot of ways. There's some of them that are out here taking care of the bad insects, probably taking care of some good insects too, but they're eating, you know, they're out here eating insects. They're out here flipping all these leaves over during the winter time and feeding themselves that way. And they're just overall beneficial. And they're beneficial to actually, we're in a city space here. I mean, we're not that far from downtown. NC State University's right down the street. We have many rental houses around us with, you know, end of semester parties going on right now. And these birds are a big part of making it seem like we're not in the middle of all that. Thank you guys so much for following along, and stick around and enjoy this little slow stroll, which is, I think the garden is way ahead of where it was versus last year at this exact same time.